Well, it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about brand new VR games coming out this week, new VR games coming out next week, and of course some of that freaking juicy VR gaming news. But of course, before we dive into that, I ask you one simple favour. Smash the living schnotzel out of that like button on this video because it helps these videos get seen to the masses, and I appreciate it every single time. Not only that, but a bunch of you are watching these videos unsubscribed. It feels illegal. So you should really take that time to smash that subscribe button. Of course, if you've enjoyed a bunch of these videos before, it might be time today to change that feeling and hit subscribe. Just saying. New VR games this week. Well, kicking things off, we have some good news finally for the Hitman franchise, and that is the Hitman World of Assassination on the PSVR 2 turns out to be a pretty decent game. So, in a shocking turn of events, this game has actually turned out to be not too bad on the PSVR 2. It seems like they've finally taken note of most things, and they've listened quite a bit, to the point where this is actually quite a good game. Now, is it perfect? No. I've seen a lot of overhype and over-dramatization of how great this is now. I still don't think this is the perfect game by any means. There's a lot of button pushing. Is it way better than any other Hitman game we've had so far? Yes. But is it the perfect VR game? Absolutely not. I still think this has a lot going for it though, and I would actually still say this is a pickup. This isn't a leave. But I just don't think it's as good as people are getting stupidly hyped about. Oh my god, it's the best Hitman game ever. Well, that's pretty easy when the rest of them have been shockingly bad. I nearly swore. Nonetheless, this is still definitely the best representation we have. One thing I would like to say though is it kind of ticks me off though to know that we now have a good version of this on the PSVR 2, yet the PC version of this still lacks and pales in comparison to what now we have on PSVR 2, and of course the Quest version is just a shocking mess still compared to what anything else is. Even by comparison to the PC, the Quest is by far the lowest of quality of the way to play this game. So all I'm saying is to the developers, if you hear this, please upgrade the other versions of the game to now be in line with the PSVR 2 so that we don't just have one version of this game being okay. Please. Next up, we had Underdogs drop on the PSVR 2, and if you own a PSVR 2, this is a no-brainer recommend from me. This game is bloody fantastic. It's a roguelike where you get into a mech and you get to fight waves upon waves of awesome things. You get to work your way through. Of course, if you die, you have to go back to the start. It's a roguelike, I already said that. But nonetheless, this is definitely one of those games that you need to pay attention to. I love the style and art design of this game, and not only that, they have some really cool upgrades coming in the future. Things like multiplayer and some other stuff too. So keep your eyes peeled in this game. Not only is it going to get better in the future, but it already is an incredibly good game. So this is an easy recommend from me if you own a PSVR 2 or a Quest. It's already out on Quest and has been for quite some time, so pick up this game. Next up, Onward had a massive upgrade this week as well, taking it to the 2.0 update. Now this is pretty exciting news because, well, quite honestly, this game has been sort of not going a lot on in it for quite some time now, and finally we actually have this brand new update that's come out for this. Now what does 2.0 exactly mean? Well, it means they've done a huge weapons overhaul, which is actually really welcomed. It means also that it's looking a little shinier and special than it did before. So this is definitely time to jump back into Onward if you haven't already, to check out this update. It's pretty damn impressive. The one thing I will say is a little bit sad though is they didn't do a busting amount with the PC version of this, and well, that is kind of where their core player audience was for a very long time, so it's kind of sad to see that they still don't really care about their PCVR players. But nonetheless, the Quest has now got this pimping new update, so go check it out if you haven't. Now in news I'm sure that you're all bloody excited about because it's all I've heard about in the comments for quite some time, and that is that Hellsplit Arena is finally dropped. It was last week, but I didn't get a chance to cover it because I was over in GDC, but nonetheless, Hellsplit Arena is finally out now, and I can report to you that it's in a really good state. Not only that, but it's bloody cheap to pick up as well. In the UK it's literally £10, which is I think about $9, something like that. So really reasonable price, I've got to say. Not just that, but this game is in a really good state on the Quest. It looks very good, the physics is there, the violence is there, the brutality of this game is all there. The only thing it doesn't have is some of the stuff that's in the PC version currently. This is more focused on the campaign for now and a bit of sandbox, but nonetheless, this is a great pickup. And not just that, but they've got some really cool stuff to this coming over the course of this year. So if you really enjoy what you've got right now, there is more coming up that you can enjoy coming later this year. What a great investment, especially for as cheap as they're offering for this game. Absolute no-brainer, pick this game up. And last but not least, in the new releases this week, we have The Living Remain. Now, this game is just a freaking awesome game. I'm very excited about this actually, because I've personally been sort of like loving this game for a really long time, and it was originally just out on PCVR, and kind of one of those quiet games that went under the radar of a lot of people, but personally, I freaking loved this. And now I'm seeing a lot of people getting hyped about it because it's come to Quest, and it makes me just happy. Honestly, it makes me happy to see a game that I've loved for so long finally get the recognition it deserves. I've even seen people saying like this is the best thing since Resident Evil came out on the Quest, so I'm pretty excited to see people feeling the same way that I have about this. Genuinely, this is a absolute banger if you're looking for a zombie apocalypse type game, but something with a really solid story that runs right the way through this thing, and also just like a lot of environment changes, keeping it interesting the entire way through this game, then this is going to be for you. A high recommend from me, which I felt has been really the moral of everything I've spoken about today in this lineup of games. What a great week to be able to finally say, yeah, you should pick up any of the games I've spoken about today because they are great. Fantastic! We love that! VR gaming news. Things off in the gaming news, Wanderer has been moved to April now, but I'll speak a little bit more about that when I say what's coming up next week, so we won't go too deeply into that. Just know that Wanderer has now been moved into next week's releases, whereas it's supposed to come out this week. Next up, we've got some exciting news with Star Wars Beyond Victory, a brand new Star Wars game coming into mixed reality. That's right, I said mixed reality, not virtual reality. This game is going to be an MR title. Now, you might be noticing I'm not showing you any trailers for this, and that's because, well, there isn't. There's like one still image, and that's it so far. But nonetheless, this is pretty exciting news. I really like Star Wars, so it's nice for me to be able to see more of this in the universe. I'm pretty interested to see how they're going to make this work in mixed reality opposed to virtual reality, but again, we'll just have to experience this when it comes and talk about it then. Next up, they have announced that Out of Sight, a brand new horror game, is going to be making its way to PCVR in May. I think May the 22nd. So this is pretty exciting. This is one of those games that was announced at the showcase the other week. This looks pretty damn interesting, I'm not going to lie. It's also coming to PSVR 2 and Quest later this year. Unfortunately, they're not releasing them all at the same time. This is going to go to PCVR first. Maybe see if it makes money, I suppose, and then see if it comes to Quest and PSVR 2 later this year. So hopefully we'll get some dates announced for that pretty soon. Now, last but not least in the news, we have Aces of Thunder. I'm pretty damn happy to say that we've actually got some news on this game finally. Now, no release date yet, but we have seen a brand new gameplay trailer which has dropped last week. And man alive, this just looks so good. I'm so excited for this game, and honestly I don't mind how long they take to make this. If they're gonna do like a good job with this, which it seems seemingly that they are, then I'm all for this taking a little bit longer. So we actually got to see a little bit more of the action in this trailer, and not just that, we actually got to see just how gorgeous this game is going to be. I am very excited for Aces of Thunder. Again, developers, take all the time you need, but just maybe give us a little idea of when it's going to come out, other than the fact that we know it's coming this year. Coming up next week. Now, next week we only have one game coming out, but oh my god, is it a banger. That is Wanderer Fragments of Fate. I already told you this in a minute ago, so if you were listening, you paid attention. Nonetheless, though, we have got Wanderer Fragments of Fate finally coming out next week, providing it doesn't have another delay. Who even knows at this point? It's had several in the last month alone. So, nonetheless, I am very excited about playing this game. If you don't know much about this, this is a puzzle, time-traveling, story-based adventure. It really covers every single genre. I'm pretty damn excited about playing this game. I will definitely be sharing my opinions next week with you guys and gals, as long as I can do that. Well, there you have it for today's video, guys. I'm very excited about virtual reality at the moment. We're stepping into that part of the year where things are just ramping up, things are getting more exciting, and we're just getting into that part where we're going to continually keep getting cool release drops. Now, I can tell you over the next couple of months, we're going to see some very exciting stuff get announced. I was at GDC the other week, and I've spoken to pretty much most developers that are in the VR space, and everyone had some pretty good news to sort of talk about. So all I can say is you might have seen a flurry of VR is dead videos and oh my god, gaming's over, with, you know, the attention seekers out there that are making videos on that stuff every 5 minutes. But nonetheless, I can tell you VR is far from dead, and we have a lot of exciting stuff to come out. There's not just free to play, even though I really don't have an issue with free to play games. I think if you're enjoying something, who cares, as long as you're in virtual reality. But nonetheless, I am pretty damn excited, so keep your eyes peeled on the channel. I've got some good stuff coming up that I can talk to you about very soon. Subscribe if you're not already, smash that like button, and other than that, have a great weekend. Let me know in the comments down below what you're going to be playing this weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.